You think ginger is good for you. You throw it in your tea, your smoothies, your stir fry, and you're not wrong. Ginger contains gingerol, a real anti-inflammatory compound that actually does something. But here's what nobody tells you. The gingerol you're consuming every single day is the raw version, unactivated, unfinished. Think of it like an engine that's never been tuned. It runs, but it's nowhere near what it's actually capable of. There's a chemical transformation that lactic acid bacteria trigger inside fermented ginger, and that process produces an entirely different compound, one that's more potent, more stable, and gets into your body in a way that raw ginger simply cannot replicate. Your ancestors knew this, they just didn't have a word for the science. Most people who care about their health have ginger somewhere in their kitchen. Ginger tea when you're sick, ginger powder in your smoothie, a few slices in your stir fry, and the wellness industry has done a great job making you feel like that's enough, like you're covered, like you've checked the box. But here's the gap nobody talks about. Gingerol, the primary active compound in raw ginger, has a bioavailability problem. Your body can absorb only so much before the rest passes through without doing anything. And the form gingerol exists in when you eat raw ginger. It's reactive, it's unstable, and it breaks down quickly before it reaches tissues. You're getting a fraction of what the plant is capable of delivering. The supplement industry knows this. The functional food companies know this, but selling you a jar of raw ginger powder at $4 a pop is a lot easier than explaining why the processing method matters more than the ingredient itself. So they keep the labels simple, keep the margins high, and let you believe. And let you believe you're getting the full picture. You're not. This is the truth. Go back to 18th century England and the early American colonies, and you'll find something interesting. Ginger wasn't just a spice sitting on a shelf. It was the centerpiece of a drink that entire communities depended on, not because it tasted good, but because it worked. Fermented ginger beer was what historians call a small beer, a low-alcohol, naturally carbonated beverage that was safer to drink than the water supply at a time when contaminated water could kill you within days. But safety wasn't the only reason. People kept coming back to it. These drinks had a reputation, a real one, built over generations, for settling digestion, reducing inflammation, after long days of physical labor and keeping people functional in ways that plain water simply didn't. Here's what those households were doing, a process lost to time, without knowing the science behind it. By fermenting ginger with wild yeast, starting a natural process, and lactic acid bacteria, the invisible workers, they were triggering a chemical conversion that changed the liquid inside the root itself, deep within the fiber. They weren't just making ginger easier to drink, they were creating life. They were fundamentally changing its molecular structure at the very core. The bacteria were doing work that mattered, that no knife, no grater could ever replicate. When industrialization arrived and forced carbonation upon us, replaced natural fermentation, first by British tax law, in 1855 that pushed brewers toward efficiency to cut fermentation short, then by the invention of pressurized carbon dioxide in the early 20th century, that conversion process disappeared entirely. Not because anyone decided it wasn't valuable, but because it was slow, a pace that modern industry couldn't handle. It was unpredictable and couldn't be scaled up into a factory, so it got cut from the world, and nobody bothered to explain the difference. What was lost when it did, lost forever. Here's where it gets specific, because this is the part that actually matters. Raw ginger contains a compound called six-shogaol. That's the thing responsible for the sharp, spicy bite you taste when you chew fresh ginger. It's also the compound most people point to when they talk about ginger's anti-inflammatory properties. And 6-gingerol is real. It does have measurable biological activity, but it has a structural problem. 6-gingerol is chemically unstable. When it hits heat, or acid, or the right biological environment, it doesn't stay as gingerol, it converts. And when lactic acid bacteria ferment ginger, the exact bacteria that thrive in a properly maintained ginger bug, that conversion produces something called 6-shogaol. Think of it this way. If 6-gingerol is the raw iron ore, 6-shogaol is the refined steel. Same source material, completely different performance. A study published in 2020 confirmed what fermentation enthusiasts had been observing for years. 6-shogaol demonstrates significantly higher antioxidant and anti-inflammatory potency than 6-gingerol. We're not talking about a marginal improvement. The research showed it outperforming its precursor by a measurable and meaningful degree in cellular studies. In cellular studies targeting inflammation pathways, but the biological upgrade doesn't stop at shogaol. Fermentation also generates lactic acid as a byproduct, and lactic acid does something independently valuable. It lowers the pH of the drink, creating an environment that is actively hostile to harmful bacteria, while simultaneously supporting the integrity of your gut lining. Your intestinal wall is not just a passive tube, it's a selective barrier that protects your health, and lactic acid helps maintain the tight junctions that keep that barrier functional. On top of that, there is even more to consider. The fermentation process releases enzymes that were previously locked away, that were locked inside the raw plant material. These enzymes assist in breaking down food compounds as it passes through your system during digestion, work that your gut would otherwise have to do on its own, and sometimes struggles to do efficiently, especially if your digestive system is already under stress. So what you're getting from fermented ginger is a total upgrade, is not just ginger with bubbles. You're getting a chemically upgraded compound, an acid environment that protects your gut, and you're also getting a suite of active enzymes that support digestion from the moment the drink is consumed, the drink hits your stomach. That is a fundamentally different product indeed than the raw root sitting alone in your refrigerator drawer. Now here's where the story gets frustrating. The modern ginger ale you find in every grocery store, Canada Dry, Schweppes, take your pick, contains almost no real gingerol. Independent testing has found that many commercial ginger ales use artificial ginger flavoring to mimic the taste, or such a small quantity of actual ginger extract that the therapeutic value is essentially zero. You are drinking carbonated sugar water with a ginger costume on, and the wellness industry's answer to this problem has been to take the exact biological processes that fermentation produces naturally within the jar, probiotics, enzymes, organic acids, extract them, isolate them, put them in a can with a clean label and a pastel color scheme, and charge you $3 to $4 per serving. Brands like Olipop and Poppy are built on this premise. And to be clear, some of those products are genuinely better than a can of Sprite. But the deeper irony is this: the industry spent a century removing the living cultures from your beverages to make them easier to manufacture and ship. And now the same industry is selling those cultures back to you. As a premium innovation for the modern consumer, you are paying a 4,000% markup for something that your great-grandmother's kitchen counter were produced automatically in her kitchen. So how do you actually bring this process back into your own life without a chemistry lab or a specialty store? The answer is a ginger bug, and it is as straightforward as fermentation gets. A ginger bug is a wild fermented starter, a living culture of yeast and lactic acid bacteria that you cultivate yourself using 3 ingredients: organic ginger, plain cane sugar, and filtered water. That's it. The reason you need organic ginger is not just about pesticides. It's because the wild yeast and bacteria that drive the fermentation live on the surface of the ginger skin. Commercially treated ginger may have that microbial layer compromised, and the reason you need filtered water, not tap, is that chlorine is added to municipal water specifically to kill microorganisms, the same microorganisms you are trying to grow. The same microorganisms you are trying to grow. Before you start, sanitize your jar and your stirring spoon. Hot soapy water works fine, or rinse with white vinegar and a hot water wash. You are not trying to sterilize, you are trying to give your target bacteria a head start over anything you don't want growing in there. To build the starter, gather your fresh organic ginger roots. Grate 2 tablespoons of fresh organic ginger. Leave the skin on to preserve natural yeast. Mix it with 2 tablespoons of cane sugar and 1 cup of filtered water in a clean glass jar. Cover the jar with a coffee filter or a piece of cheesecloth secured with a rubber band. This lets the culture breathe by allowing air to pass through the cloth while keeping those pesky fruit flies out. Every day for the next 5 to 7 days, feed the bug. Every day for the next week. Add 1 tablespoon of minced ginger and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Stir it hard. Don't be afraid to stir. You want to incorporate plenty of oxygen into the mix. Keep the jar somewhere warm and protected from the cold. Between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, keep the jar out of direct sunlight. If your house runs cold, below 60 degrees, the process may take up to 10 days total. Around day 4 or day 5, check your bug. You will know it is working by the healthy glow. You'll hear a faint hiss when you stir it. You will see small bubbles forming at the surface. The liquid will turn slightly cloudy. That cloudiness is the culture. That's your lactic acid bacteria at work, doing exactly what they have been doing for centuries. Inside ginger for 300 years. To make the actual soda, brew a strong ginger tea for the base. Simmer a ginger handful in the pot in half a gallon of clear water for 20 minutes of simmering. Add 1 cup of white sugar while it is still hot and swirling, and stir until it is fully dissolved. Then wait for the tea to sit. Let it cool completely first, letting it cool completely to room temperature. If you add your ginger bug to hot liquid you'll kill. The culture will be killed instantly, and you're back to square one starting over. Once cooled, strain out the ginger pieces, and stir in half a cup of liquid of your active and bubbly ginger bug liquid. Pour into pressure-safe bottles, seal and leave them to sit, leaving the bottles at room temperature for 48 to 72 hours. During that window, the bacteria Consume the sugar grains in the tea, producing lots of natural carbonation bubbles. When the bottles feel firm to the touch, while under gentle and natural pressure, move the bottles to the fridge. Store between 35 and 40 degrees, and 40 degrees in the cold range, keeping the culture alive and sparkling, but dormant in the inactive state. They will keep for several weeks in the fridge, if they last that long. Here's the thing about raw ginger. It was never really the problem. It is a truly useful plant with many properties. This plant has real and powerful biological activity, but you have been using it lately, using it in its least complete form, a single raw slice, and nobody in the food industry had any financial incentive to tell you that. Fermentation is not just a trend. It is not a wellness aesthetic at all. It is definitely not just a wellness aesthetic or a TikTok phase. It is the oldest and most reliable method to unlock what a plant is actually capable of. And with ginger specifically, it is a truly unique process. This process unlocks compounds the raw root cannot, that the raw root simply cannot give you on its own. 1 jar, 3 simple ingredients, 5 to 7 days. That is the entire barrier between you and the drink that outperforms everything in the functional beverage aisle. And it only cost you a few pennies per bottle. Your ancestors didn't have peer-reviewed journals. They didn't have any of those modern supplement brands. They didn't have wellness podcasts or supplement brands, but they figured this out anyway because it worked. And because results don't lie, you can have the same result, starting today, on your very own kitchen counter. If this changed how you think about it, about something you assumed you already understood, hit that like and subscribe button. There's more where this came from coming soon. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.